Hey friends, my name's Steve Guttenberg. In the midst of this worldwide pandemic, well, the audio industry, remember them? It's not doing that great, but there are points of light. So I'm going to talk about four U.S.-based companies: Magnepan, PS Audio, Emotiva, and VPI, the makers of turntables, in this episode. But I want to hear from companies, other companies here in the U.S. and worldwide who are still somehow carrying on. You could email me info@audiophiliac@mail.com. I will leave that address below where you can contact me and tell me about other companies that are soldiering on, let's put it that way. So anyway, I heard that VPI, this all started because I heard that VPI, they make turntables, but they're making hand sanitizers and giving them to hospitals. And I said, wow, that's pretty cool. So I called up Matt Weisfeld, president of VPI, and we had a nice chat. And he's not just making hand sanitizer, because they make record cleaning solutions, so they have bottles and things that you would need to do to make this kind of thing. Also making face masks and parts of ventilators. And they're giving all this stuff away for free to the suppliers, of people who need this stuff in hospitals. All four of these companies, Magnepan, Emotiva, PS Audio, and VPI, haven't laid off any of their workers. That is amazing considering the state of the world and considering the state of the audio business at this moment. So hats off to them for doing that. So anyway, so Matt said in the a month or so before this really got heavy duty, they were building up a stockpile of inventory of turntables in anticipation. So they're still supplying turntables for customers. They're still supplying parts. They're still doing customer service, and that's it. Of course, they're observing social distancing and all that stuff. And they're all these companies are working within the law. I'm not going to go into all the details for every company, but they're very aware of that, and they're definitely taking care of their workers. But anyway, it all started with Matt because I heard about the hand sanitizer thing. So I next called up Paul McGowan at PS Audio. And yeah, he's doing the same, a similar story, that they built up some inventory. Turns out that a lot of PS Audio suppliers make parts for medical instruments and stuff, so they're still in business. So their supply chain is actually held up, so they get their circuit boards and their chassis parts and all that stuff from U.S. companies that are relatively unaffected. So their supply chain is intact, and they're moving along. And I think that that's fantastic. And of course, PS Audio being a direct sale company, that part is unaffected by the dealer situation, which is obviously a whole other story of brick and mortar dealers. So that was really nice, and I had a great chat actually with Paul McGowan. It was probably the longest single conversation we've ever had, so it was actually pretty nice. Then I called my pal Wendell over at Magnepan, and I've been to the Magnepan factory. I've also been to the VPI factory, but I've been to the Magnepan factory, and it's a very large space. So actually, he said they're experiencing, strangely enough, a sales surge. And they're still trying to catch up on their LRS speakers, the little ribbon speaker deliveries, but they're also selling 0.7, 1.7, and 3.7 speakers, panel speakers, direct. And those sales continue, and their sales program is coordinated with their dealer network. Again, that's a story for another time, but Magnepan is continuing, and it's always nice to talk to Wendell. Wendell is a trip. So I wasn't expecting that Magnepan would be fully intact and fully employed. Matter of fact, Magnepan is looking to hire people at this time. So if you're anywhere near White Bear Lake in Minnesota, give Magnepan a call. Maybe you could get a job there in the midst of this pandemic. Next up, to finish up, I called Dan Laufman over at Emotiva. And Dan was in his car with his dogs driving through a car wash. So that was kind of interesting. But anyway, yes, Dan told me that their production of their electronics meaning their DACs and amplifiers, is intact. They also built up an inventory in the month or so leading up to the full onslaught of lockdown. But they're doing okay, social distancing, all that kind of thing, and they also sell direct. But they actually have a sale right now, or they don't want to call it a sale, but a deal where you get 30% back. So let's say you bought an amplifier for $1,000. If you buy another piece, you would get a $300 discount. That's 30% on the second thing that you buy. So whatever you buy, that is credited towards your next sale, your next buy. So something like that. Check the website. Of course, I will link to the websites of all 4 of these companies. But yeah, Dan's speakers are still made in China, but pretty much, I think everything else except the Base X electronics are made in China, but everything else is made in the good old USA. So it's interesting and gives me some hope for the future as we get through this, that the audio business will keep it on. It can be kind of scary right now for a lot of people in all sorts of industries, but audio industry is my bailiwick, so that's what I know best. So yeah, 4 companies, Emotiva, PS Audio, VPI, and Magnepan, they're there. So if you're stuck at home and you're itching to buy new audio and you have the money to do it, support them. That would be nice. And yes, if any other companies anywhere in the world are doing similar work of somehow keeping it together, please contact me. Maybe I'll do another one of these videos. Contact me at audiophiliac@mail.com, not Gmail, mail.com. And I think that's it. My work here is done. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. If you dig it, hey, hit that button right down there. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. When you do, hit the button to see that little icon of a bell. Hit that bell so you'll be notified every time there's an amazing new episode of this incredible extravaganza that I host on a near daily basis. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan. You can follow me on Instagram at steve.guttenberg. I'm actually starting to run trailers of upcoming shows on Instagram, by the way. It's sort of an experiment I'm working on. You can check me out on Patreon at patreon.com. But while you're here, because be here now, while you're here, check out the playlist for speaker reviews and electronics reviews and headphone reviews and music reviews, lots of music reviews. And that's it. So if you dig it, give me a thumbs up, etc., etc. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.